Yolanda, to me, I've worked for some very high-end organizations. You are by far the most consummate employee I've ever seen. You represent professionalism. There's never any adult drama with you. It's when you come into Yolanda's office, you're looking at the example that a workplace should be. You literally started this district being my daughter's literal safety net, and I will never forget you for that. I've enjoyed watching you, and you are as humble, meek, and professional at any job you've taken, and I personally, from my family, and especially Tammy, wish you only the best. And I know you all back there on the wall, you know what you got, right? Okay, good.
Mr. Pfalzgraf, board member comments?
Yes, please. I want to give a shout out to Anna Phillips of the LA Times, who began following me about 3 years ago and sat out in the audience and watched the fiasco when I first hit the board. I think she found me on the internet with all my crazy charter videos. I don't know if y'all saw this. I love her photographer because he chose to put me in front of buses, so I actually looked skinny. That was good. But in reality, if you read this article, I would hope you would, because what she did was she took a look at, in a three-part series, the first one of just the horrendous criminal personal wealth building that's been going on outside of anything we could even imagine. They listed one person or a couple who took about $19 million out of one daycare center, and it's just rampant and all over the place. So that was kind of the one about what's really bad about it. She looked at small school districts, us being one, and talked about what happens when the state doesn't give you a funding model that's applicable to a small district and the demographic and things with that. And she kind of followed three districts through and basically came to the conclusion that using charter schools as an alternative funding source in lieu of the state actually giving you what you need is not a long-term viable option. And I told y'all when I ran 3 years ago that I thought that the funding source was volatile, and we can see that the plane is in a glide path on the charter revenue. If you can't see that, I'll make an eye doctor appointment for you. I'm happy to announce that. A couple of the other things I talked about when I ran was we wanted to restore focus on local students, and I think that we can see plenty of evidence there. At the end of the story, on the second part where they were talking about us and what's happened in our district, I think she made it really clear that this rubber stamping idea, there's questions, you're going to hear some tonight, of the charters that come in. So there is accountability and credibility, and we don't just approve everyone. And we do look for educational outcomes, and I'm known to be one that puts everybody through the ringer, and she made that very clear. So if you get by me and my colleagues, I think that we're just more verbal about things now and put things out there where you can see the kinds of questions we're asking. Finally, her question really was at the end, what is the state going to do now? Because you can't just let people out there to do what they're going to do. And I always want to remind people, regardless of whether you like charters or you don't, the kids that attend them every day choose to go there, and they're not doing that by being forced to do that. Thank you for your patience with my political views. They are probably only mine. Kelly.
How do you follow that?
Okay, so I have a couple questions about this. This is not about the person filling the position. This is about the position itself. Is there a step increase schedule with this position?
There is not.
Are there any pay for performance measures in here where we could bonus this employee for a rated performance?
There are not.
There is no bonus that the superintendent or the board could just bonus this position just because we feel like it?
No.
Are there any medical benefits on this position that are outside of the norms for other district employees?
No.
Here's what I would say about this. Now I will talk about the person filling the position. We've had a number of people depart from here, and I think there's been some efficiencies gained with Lynn being in this position. Some of the things that I asked Mr. King for, such as a facilities maintenance plan, the training that's going on, not filling positions that didn't need to be filled at the director level, enhancing staff, giving opportunities for advancement for employees that have been here quite a number of years, and providing cost savings. I think you've met those goals. As I alluded to a little bit ago, this plane is doing this on the charter revenue, and I'm glad to see that there has been a reduction in our dependence on charter revenue, and that reduction has not come at the expense of what you would see in the classroom, but more so better running of the district through the district office, facilities, and things like that. One of the things I want to call out is that our dependence on an outside contractor, facilities expert, is reducing. We're seeing our staff becoming more capable in the area. Their performance, and I'm talking about facilities and maintenance, is measured. It's measured by an external tool issued by an external agency, oversight agency. And I think if you look at the school SARC reports, that's where the conditions of your campuses are seen. So, Lynn, thank you for everything you've done. Continue to sharpen the pencil, please.
Mr. Pfalzgraf, you wanna?
Here we go. You are a nonprofit, correct? Your Shasta exception is you're totally virtual online. Your attempt to service our local market is represented by you participating in our summer school fair. Question, when students go into your summer school program, do they have to unenroll from their school, enroll, and then the school that they're pulling from is punished financially?
They do not.
Okay.
For the summer session, they do not need to.
So you're not one that like has them go online for two times a week and then charge 6 days of enrollment?
No.
Thank you, I've heard of that.
Yeah.
It might be closer than you think. Your elective vendors, what's your accountability look like there? Because in some cases, it's like I sign up for the class, I'm the vendor, I submit a bill, and then I get paid right away whether the kid shows up or not. Show me what accountability looks like with your vendors.
It's quite a process.
So you know what I'm talking about. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
We're very familiar with that. We only have a small list of vendors that are approved for that kind of use because it is difficult. There is kind of a little bit of a cottage industry there that I think, well, I guess we have 40 vendors, 30 maybe. And so we vet those. They go through all the background checks, things like that. However, what we found is that as we built the Smart Box program, the vast majority of what they need is addressed through that. And that's been huge for us because when we were buying curriculum when we first started, we didn't really have any control over that kind of thing. And now we can, if there's an interest in certain things, we can build that with the students.
So would you say that your vendors, that you're cognizant of what Tim's a coach, if you didn't figure that out, that he's kind of interested in the team and the physical part and stuff. Do you think that you're cognizant that your vendors might represent something that he may feel is important to kids?
Still, I think that their value in the overall, in the overall.
Okay, who is your SELPA?
Animal Valley.
AV. So that means that we supply you with SPED oversight services.
Correct, but we partner with an organization called SEEK.
Okay.
And they coordinate all of our service delivery, all of the IEP meetings, all of the monitoring, and then we have an RSP teacher in process right now on that's our own. But they provide all of our specialists.
So there's no direct SPED services like a psychological analysis or therapist being provided to any of your students from this district?
No,
Who enters your SACE data?
but we do, our compliance manager.
Okay, thank you. Can you be a board member, a vendor, and a staff member? Bummer, how are you supposed to make any money doing it that way? It looks to me like your financial projections on your staff salaries look like that they might be increasing over the 5-year period for a collective total of 21%. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that would be right. Yeah.
Would you say that your development of your own curriculum and your dependence on back-of-house vendors has taken you out of the factoring business?
Absolutely.
So, throw a number out there for me. What's your back of house expense look like? You're not like the consultant at the principal, the consultant to the superintendent, to the.
It would be in the ballpark of about 1.5% gross revenue, yeah, for business services.
Tell me what that kind of looks like. Is that an audit? Is that independent?
It's the actual back-end services. They provide payroll. They work with us and our auditor. They help us with audit selection, but our board of directors finalizes that with our recommendations. They help kind of keep us abreast of legislation changes, putting requirements, setting forward and things like that.
So there's not jumping and stacking and gapping where this person is.
No.
Okay. Are we confusing the student success team? I know some people use student success teams to prolong an IEP, but is this request, this written request, is that actually, did it somehow get buried in the verbiage? That's actually a written request for an assessment for special education services? Is that might be the confusion?
I can poke around and find it in here too.
I'm sorry, I thought I had it posted, and I think it's just funky language, honestly,
Probably is.
but I think it needs to be addressed because it is, I don't think it's what you intended to say, but it's the way it
But
reads.
to be on record, an SST, a student success team, is not a legal replacement for an IEP assessment.
Absolutely.
Okay, good, perfect,
Yeah,
thank
and
you.
I'll research that too and propose new language.
I would think that staff would come back with amendments when you guys come back to have your final hearing, that would be taken care of. I'd like to end by thanking Allison and Lisa for writing these letters to the board. So that's it, thank you.